All right, welcome to the second playoff round of the SuperMotocross World Championship. This is Texas Motor Speedway. First time we've had a race here. This is, again, the second playoff round. We had a great weekend last Saturday at ZMAX Dragway, part of Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jason Wygant, Jason Thomas as your host for today's press conference. Want to thank everyone who helps make this possible. It starts with the athletes, the teams, the OEMs, and the coming together of both the Supercross and Motocross championships. It's a big part of what makes this possible, as well as our partners, Monster Energy, Fly Racing, Progressive Insurance, Rocky Mountain ATV MC, Alpine Stars, Thor, Motorcycle Mechanics Institute, and again, those athletes, teams, the promoters, the AMA, and our broadcast partners, of course, at NBC and Peacock, all working together to make this SMX World Championship work. And it did work last weekend. We'll give you a brief reminder that there is a points reset when the playoffs begin. So congrats out to Hayden Deegan, who won the 250 class. Last week, he came in as the #1 seed, as the point leader, so he remains the point leader coming in. Jet Lawrence won last week's 450 race, but he's still working his way back up the point standings because he was not the #1 seed coming in. Chase Sexton remains the SMX points leader, third last week, but he was the #1 seed. He had a bit of a points buffer to work with, so he'll still have the red plates on his machine. And perhaps most importantly, this will be a double points race this weekend and triple points next weekend in Las Vegas. So that's how we play the game when it comes to the SMX playoffs. Double points, seeding definitely matters coming in, and we expect great racing on a really fun racetrack tomorrow afternoon, and riders will ride today with open practice. And also part of the menu for SMX is giving the next generation of riders their chance in the spotlight. We had 65cc racing last weekend. JT will have Super Minis tomorrow.
That's right, and a tough act to follow. Those 65 World All-Stars brought the action, so good luck to these guys bringing a show like that. But let's bring them out here. The Super Mini World All-Stars. We'll start with last year's winner in Chicago, Carson Wood. We'll bring up Braxton Mez. Thank you. Dane Pappas. Wyatt Thurman. Tace Morgan. And Mela Herrick. Now we'll start with you, Carson. Last year, again, won this race. You get to run that number one on your bike this weekend. But a little bit different conditions, and I wanted to talk about the prep. You go to Loretta Lynn's, and then this is kind of the next big race on your calendar. How do you start to transition for SMX preparation after Loretta Lynn's?
So I've been training with Jeannie Carmichael and Swanee, and yeah, they have a little SMX track, and we've been riding that a lot. So
No, that's it. I think that's the big part of this, is having that SMX track so you can really be familiar here.
We'll transition the media in a second. I'll go to Braxton Mess, the Husqvarna rider. Just talk about what an opportunity it is for you to be able to race really in this kind of environment, not just a track, but having a big stadium, having the other racers at the top level racing at the same day as you. What's that like?
I mean, it's great. I mean, it's been great. I've been training really hard. I'm on the brand new 2025 KTM, and I've been testing with Ryan Morris and Lee at WP Suspension, and it's been great. I've been having so much fun on that bike.
All right, we'll pass the microphone around. Media has some questions for our Super Mini riders. Go ahead.
Jamie Guido, Vital MX. Yeah, it's great to see you guys out here. The amateur scene is amazing right now. I want to go to, is it Mila? It's really cool to see a female out here, and women's motocross is really coming back strong, it feels like, with the WMX series. So how important is it, do you feel like, for you to be in this event and show that women are just as fast as the boys?
I think it's really important because, I mean, it just shows that we can do it, and even though we're obviously not as big and strong as them, we can still keep up and just show that we can still do everything they can do.
I like it. And Carson, we saw last weekend. we saw last weekend with the 65s, Carter Gray getting docked because he jumped the double. Have they given you guys any stipulations on what you can and can't do on the track this weekend?
No, I don't think so. They haven't told us anything yet, but yeah, last year, I think our first press, everyone was getting hurt on the finish line, and what they did was just tame it down a little bit. But no, they don't tell us we can't hit anything.
All right, well, good luck to all of you guys. And girls.
Any of you guys can answer this. This is Michael with Swap Moto Live, but just knowing that you guys are riding more SMX tracks, just like you said, Carson, what's the biggest thing that's different from riding a traditional outdoor motocross track or the little bit of Supercross you guys get to do? Is there something that's definitively different that you have to learn?
I mean, I don't think so. It's mainly just timing and, I mean, really just shutting your mind off and doing whatever it takes.
Are you learning a lot about bike setup? Does it feel different out there, especially with the testing you did with Mo and everybody at KTM?
Yeah, we ended up just taking some stiff A-kit suspension, stiffening it for this, but it's still outdoor suspension.
I have a question for all of you, and this concerns the starts. You know, amateur motocross still has so many dirt starts, but we'll have greats here for SMX. Is that something that was a big difference to change, get used to, or do you guys have other opportunities other than this race to familiarize yourself with that?
There's some nationals that have them, and back at home we train a lot and practice on them for this.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of races that have greats, so having to practice great starts and get those dialed was a little different.
I'll send a question over there to Tace Morgan. First of all, so everybody has an idea of what we're dealing with here. How old are you, and how much riding do you get to do? Is this like a full-time thing for you already? Just explain the lifestyle as a kid at this level.
It's good. I just turned 13, but I've been training at Dog Pound. They have a good SMX track, and I've been training hard.
Dog Pound?
Yeah.
Isn't that the Lawrence brothers' place?
Yeah.
So you actually ride with them?
Yes.
That's pretty 1 in a million right there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of 13-year-olds that are getting to work with the elite of the elite, but Carson, you're talking about working with Swanee, who works with the Star Racing Riders. Does it seem normal to you, or still at 13 are you like, wow, I can't believe this is what I get to do? Or does it all seem normal at this point?
Well, it was pretty shocking when I first got it, but I've known Chan since I started racing, so me and him's pretty good friends. I know Drew pretty well, and it's cool.
Oh, Chance Hymas and Drew Adams also there. That's pretty cool. More questions? Yep.
Question for Wyatt. I believe this is your home race, second time doing this. What's it like to be racing in front of family and friends and doing this a second time?
Yeah, it's definitely different racing in front of this many people. The nerves are a little bit higher, and just having to deal with the pressure is a little bit different with everyone watching. I mean, just racing at a regular race, there's not a whole lot of people, but coming to these, I mean, it's a stadium full, and it's definitely different.
A question for Dane. Super Mini, are you already starting? I mean, we look at how tall you guys are. Are you already starting to ride the larger bikes a little bit as well, or are you full Super Mini?
Yeah, so I started riding my brother's YZ125 a little bit, and it's definitely makes the bumps a lot smaller, but it's definitely not as fast as my Super Mini.
Is it been tough? Have you gotten taller actually in the years you rode a Super Mini, and you almost having to adjust as you go while you're racing it?
Yeah, I'm bike setup and taller bars and stuff like that.
That's how young these riders are, everybody. That's something they got to work with. We have other questions from the media for our Super Minis?
Scott Yarja, MotoNet blog. General question for whoever wants to answer. I'm assuming you all walked the track this morning. What's the most intimidating obstacle out there for you guys?
I think the triple in the back, only because of the landing it's a short distance between the landing and the corner.
I think the double after the finish line is going to be a little bit of a stretch, being that, at least for my bike, being on a 105 bolt-on kit instead of a 112, but I think I could do it.
I think all the jumps have super good transitions, so I don't think any of them will be much of a problem for the Super Minis.
You guys are insane.
Carson Wood, that was a close race. It was a good battle last year. What was it like to win that? What was that experience like when you crossed the finish line and then that night?
It was very unexpected. I was 13 racing against 16-year-olds, and yeah, I got it done. Yeah, I got a really good start in that moto, and yeah, you know, winning that and then coming to this year, you know what to expect, and you don't have as much nerves as you do as your first time. So yeah, I'm glad I did it that year.
All right, I think that's it for our Super Mini. Thank you. You guys can head out that side. Putting on a show last year. Just want to remind everyone, by the way, we will be starting our coverage tomorrow, Race Day Live at 9:30 Eastern Time. That's Race Day Live qualifying coverage. We'll have a pre-race show on Peacock and the SMX Video Pass at 2:30, and gates drop at 3 o'clock. This is all Eastern Time tomorrow. And now we'll bring our 250 athletes on up. They'll come up to the stage in the order we call them. Julian Beaumer. Joe Shimoda. Pierce Brown. Levi Kitchen. Hayden Deegan. Tom Vial. RJ Hampshire. Jordan Smith. Max Anstey. And Chance Hymas. All right, I'll queue up a question there for Hayden, last week's winner and the defending SMX champ. It was funny, after the race, you said there were a lot of things you still needed to work on, even though obviously it was a great weekend with the results. So does that just wash away? Was it just right back to the grind as soon as the week began?
Oh, yeah, 100%. But, I mean, obviously, I literally came out last both starts, so it was not good. So, yeah, I just worked on those, and hopefully it's better. If not, I'm going to have to deal with it.
It kind of put on a show a little bit. No party wants to do that again?
I mean, I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, the goal is the whole shot, but if I don't, I'm fine with it, too.
I have a question for Chance Hymas. Obviously, you're still working through this knee injury. Rough opening SMX playoff round. What was your week like? How do you feel coming in? Will you be able to push the way you want to?
Yeah, definitely a rough first round for sure. But yeah, just trying to get through this week. And yeah, I tweaked my knee a little bit last weekend, but just trying to rehab a little bit and try to work on the bike a little bit. I was definitely behind the 8 ball last weekend for sure. But yeah, I'm trying to do my thing this weekend, you know, get back up front.
Jamie Guido, Vital MX. Julian Beaumer led some laps last weekend. First time really running up front like that. What'd you take away from it, and can you repeat and move up a spot?
Yeah, for sure. Took a lot away from a lot of confidence and just learning that pace and being up there in the front. Definitely the goal is to move up a position, and no, I feel good coming into this weekend. I'm ready to go.
One for RJ real quick. You were on our show a few weeks ago, and you talked about, hey, I kind of like the smack talking. It's fun. You don't have a problem with talking with Hayden, going back and forth, and then you were yelling at him on the track a little bit. What were you saying, and how'd that go?
Yeah, I mean, he backed it up, so you can't really take anything away from the kid. Yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, I don't really care if I go out there and get smoked on the weekend. Like they say they want someone that'll talk back, and I mean, yeah, hopefully I can battle. And he had us covered last weekend. That was clear as day. So hopefully this weekend I can step it up and give him something.
Joe Shimoda, I think many people wondered if you would be able to race last weekend. You were obviously much better than that. One, did you surprise yourself a little bit with that performance coming back so quickly? And two, does your expectations for the playoff rounds as a whole change now that you had such a good opening round?
Yeah, like we talked about in the first round, I only rode 3/8 on the motorcycle. So, I mean, yeah, like I don't think in 4 weeks do you lose, you know, how to ride or maybe a little bit of fitness, but I didn't feel like too awkward going into the last round. So, I mean, yeah, this time let's get another good start and maybe, you know, jump the jumps. And yeah, let's try to fight.
Hey, Levi, this one is for you. I know last week when I asked you about how you felt about being in the point standings all year, and you said, I haven't even looked at it lately because I'm trying to tune out. I hate to put you back on the spot again, but with double points, you're second in points to Hayden, you're down by 5. Would you say that this race is the most critical of the 3? Because although you know where you're setting in the next one, this result here will set what you do and how in contention you are in Vegas?
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, all of them obviously are important. And I think the goal is just to make sure you have a shot going in the last one. We all seen last year, I mean, things kind of went crazy and there was a lot of people that could have won. So, yeah, just get through this one with a good result and then just set yourself up well for the last round, I think is the goal.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. And let's stay with the topic of points. Chance, after having kind of a disappointing week last week, now you've got double points and a chance to move up. Are you starting, how important is it, this progressive point structure for you?
Yeah, it's very important for me. If I want to stay in this thing, I need to rebound this weekend, get good results, and take advantage of the double points. So didn't put up a respectable position last weekend, so I'm already starting way behind. So, yeah, this weekend's going to be very important for me.
And for Julian, congrats again on the podium last week. Are you starting... Is this going to be the launch into making you one of the serious contenders for the top 3 in the points? And again, with it being double, anything could happen this week.
Yeah, for sure. I think with double points and triple points next weekend, it's important to get out of this weekend with a good result. I feel good, and the goal is to be in that top 3 and on the podium this weekend.
Question is for Levi Clinton Fowler here. Great second moto, led bunch of laps. What's it going to take to close that moto down and get the victory?
Just a couple less mistakes. It kind of fell apart for me. Like, obviously I missed that jump, but before that I should have done that rhythm. I mean, yeah, that was, I was pretty scared to do it, so respect to Hayden for jumping that. But, yeah, just, I don't know, find some better lines out there and, yeah, I mean, rip another start and hopefully, I don't know, stay up front.
Hey, Tom, for you, we're at the end of the season. We know you guys have been pretty set up on the bike and everything for this year. So in these last few races, how much riding are you doing during the week? Is it heavy to try to be peaking when you come in on Saturday, or is it, dude, I've been racing all year, I need to kind of have a little bit in the tank?
I mean, no, I try to stay a little bit the same all year. I ride between 1 or twice a week. We have the chance today to ride on Friday. So we have like 2 times 10 minutes to know a little bit the track and set up the bike for actually the race day tomorrow. So I ride a little bit this week. It depends a little bit on the week and how I feel.
Does this 2-day format help you, being a GP guy that would do a Saturday qualifier and then Sunday motos? Is this almost, I know you liked the 1-day format when you did the GPs, but is this nice to have a day where you go practice and you learn the track and you think about it overnight and then you can come execute on Saturday?
I mean, I don't really know. I like the 1-day format because I feel like today we are kind of riding for not much. We are taking risks for not so much. Actually, it's nice to, of course, know the track, set up the bike. You feel a little bit better for the first practice tomorrow, but I kind of like the 1-day format. It doesn't bother me.
Scott Yarja, Moto Now blog. RJ, when you crashed last weekend, were you eyeing up the quad?
No, I mean, honestly, I don't really know what I was thinking. I should have just stuck to my normal line, but I knew Hayden was, jumping the quad, and the way I thought is if I went left, maybe I would take that line away from him, he wouldn't be able to jump it, and then he jumps it to the right, kind of over my head, so did not play into my favor. But honestly, before leading up to that crash, like, I was surprised on how well I felt, even from practice to that. Like, I felt really good with my wrist, and then whenever that happened, it kind of aggravated a little bit. But yeah, we're kind of past that and looking forward to this weekend now.
And then following that up, Max, we saw you were one of the only 250 riders to pull out the quad in that second race. Talk about eyeing up a jump for the first time and having to decide to do that in the race moment.
I think for me, I don't know if this is working. Hello. I think for me, the biggest thing with the jumps, or even at Ironman in press day, there was that big jump there. I looked at it, I thought, right, yeah, I can. If someone jumps it, I'll do it, but I didn't waste my time with it. watched Hayden do it, and I thought, all right, my bike's the same color as his. I might as well do that. So I think for me, it makes life quite a lot easier being on. I used to be a jumper when I was younger. I'm a little older now. I'm like, all right, I'll wait for a few others to do the jumps, and then I'll click into it if I need to. But I guess that's just a little bit of experience. But yeah, no, of course, the on-off quad last week, early on in the race, I was playing it a little safe. I was like, right, nah, no one else is doing it. And then Hayden came through and was doing it. I was like, okay, I need to switch to it. And of course it was better. But again, that's just getting my feet wet with it and building things up. I'm not here to throw it all away just to do some jumps. But if I have to do the jumps, yeah, I'm fine with it, especially on this bike that I'm on now.
Just as a follow-up to that, earlier this season you jumped into the Pro Motocross Championship and you mentioned trying to find familiarity, new team, new bike, in the middle when all these guys have momentum. Is that getting a little easier now? You start a new SMX World Championship playoff. Did you feel that kind of coming around last weekend?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, as far as it goes in the week and just hanging out in the truck with the guys, it's definitely, I feel, a part of it now, which is cool. Again, though, last week was the first time riding with that suspension in a race. It was the Supercross style suspension. Doesn't really matter how much you do at the practice track. That track last week, you had to be 100% confident of sending it through those, even singles, onto the start straight or like down through there. And that 1 or 2% just takes a little bit of just getting used to. And each lap I was building up and getting better and better. But, of course, yeah, another week this week, feel good. And again, it's, I feel good going into this one. But yeah, it's been a work in progress, and I think for next year it's all going to help out massively with all of that.
We have a fan question in the back.
So, my name's Dexter. My question's for RJ Hampshire. How do you get so fast?
I'm old, buddy, so it's a lot of years of practice, never giving up. Yeah, lots of crashes, and just believing in yourself.
That's good. RJ and for Jordan, it's funny that you end up even sitting next to each other. We've been seeing you guys battle for ages, used to be teammates. I think you guys were close at different times last week. So, Jordan, you haven't spoken yet. Just talk about that. And somehow you find each other quite a bit. Motocross, Supercross, year after year, SMX, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it probably started in like 2012 at Mini O's, and I'm sure we raced before that, but that was like the first year we kind of battled. And yeah, I don't think it's ever slowed down since. If we're on the track, we're gonna find each other at some point, and yeah, it's fun, but it's not fun at the same time.
I think the crowd enjoys the battles more than him and I do.
It's good. We got more. Go ahead, Clinton.
Question for Hayden Deegan, Clinton Fowler. Last year we had 5 different moto winners. You went out and took 1-1. Can you flip the script this year and run the table?
Yeah, last year it was more. I think it was more like wild. I don't even think I till the last round I didn't win an overall. So it definitely is a wild series. So I mean, I guess I'm a lot more confident and a lot better on the bike. So now it's just trying to keep the 1-1 going. That's my goal. And I mean, theoretically in my head, these are $125,000 races. So, and I like money a lot. So that's why I feel like I put my whole heart into these races. And the goal is to keep going 1-1.
Jeff Beaver, Whiskey Throttle Media. This is for Julian. Besides getting your phone back for the week, what was your biggest takeaway from your performance last weekend that you were able to apply coming into Texas?
Yeah, we rewatched the race, and I still wasn't riding how I ride at home. And I think just big thing is bringing what I bring from home to the race. There's some things that I wasn't happy with, and the goal is to fix those and be better this weekend.
Dan Beaver, for Jordan and for Max, is there anything that you guys, this is going to be one of the hottest races of the year and probably one of the most humid races of the year. Is there anything you guys have done in the week leading up to this to prepare? Jordan?
Not really anything special this week. I mean, it was, I feel like we had a somewhat mild summer during outdoors. We only had a couple hot races, but this is pretty much what we've trained in all year. I mean, I don't think it can get any hotter than what it has in Cairo, Georgia this summer. So, yeah, I mean, I think that we're as prepared or more prepared than anyone else up here. And it's going to suck for everyone. It's just how much you can kind of push through. So it's going to be definitely different, though, with a bit more of a Supercross style track. And this one looks a lot slower than last weekend, the speeds of the track do. So it's going to be really hot, but you just have to suffer through it.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, go and live in Cairo, Georgia for a summer, yeah, that's about it. I mean, yeah, it's 20 plus 1. It's not 30 plus 2. I've raced. Yeah, weirdly though, I've raced a few GPs. Like back in the day, 2013 German GP was at a weird speedway kind of place like this, and it was 40 Celsius, which is similar to what it will be. And yeah, I've had my fair share of experience racing in Thailand and Indonesia and stuff in the heat. But yeah, it's going to be hot, but same for everyone. It's only 20-minute races, so it's not too bad.
Pierce Brown, setup for these SuperMotocross races is always a question. Motocross, Supercross combined. When you look at this track today with the big rhythm and then a lot of outdoor and some sand, feel like you lean more Supercross or more outdoor? Do you know where you're going to start?
I'm going to just keep it the same from, at least setup-wise, from Charlotte. I think there's a lot of similarities to this track to last weekend. I mean, it looks a lot more outdoorsy than Supercross, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think we kind of have to set up for that. But, no, I'm excited. I think these tracks are cool. I mean, it changes it up from anything that we race all year. So it always, like I said, it's definitely a question mark on what we do for setups. And sometimes you could take a shot in the dark and make it, you know?
Dan Hubbard, Race Day Live. Question for Tom Vial. Tom, coming off a Supercross championship, did well in the outdoors. I think we expected maybe you to do better and place higher last week. Just wondering what your takeaway is from last week, and if you worked on anything this week that you're going to apply to tomorrow's race.
I start really bad last week. I think second moto I was 20 in the first corner, so actually almost last, and it was tough to pass. The track was really fast, and obviously every rider was riding fast, and I couldn't do really better than 4 and 7, so I was lucky that was the first race. Hopefully this weekend is going to be more important, and obviously next weekend too.
One fan question in the back. We're done? Oh, we're going to get it back there. Yeah, we'll have one more fan question, and then we'll transition to the 450 division. This is cool. Go ahead.
My name's Knox. This is for Deegan. How do you feel about coming into this round going 1-1?
I'm good. I just gotta keep doing the same stuff that I've been doing, racing fast, and it's gonna be hot. So hopefully some of these dudes fade a little more than usual.
There you go. It's a 250 press conference, and head out there to the right.
Next up, we will bring up the 450 SMX riders. We will start with Dylan Ferrandis. He will be followed by Justin Cooper. And eventually Ken Roxon. Eli Tomac. Chase Sexton. Round 1 winner, Jet Lawrence. Hunter Lawrence. Aaron Plessinger. Cooper Webb. Jason Anderson. And Malcolm Stewart. Start off with last week's winner, Jet Lawrence. Was there any surprise in your performance last weekend? I think most people were looking for you to come in, get some points, and move forward, not to get the win. Did you surprise yourself with that ride?
Yeah, for sure. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting like a fifth or a fourth. But yeah, obviously the first few laps came pretty fast. The race pace was pretty high, so I had to get used to that. But kind of once I got 5 minutes in, it felt like natural again, normal. And it was, just started getting my lines down, started figuring out where I need to do, where I need to make up time and stuff like that. And it just kind of felt natural again, so it was nice.
Open up to the press. Go ahead.
Jamie Guida, Vital MX. Chase Sexton, I'm going to go to you first. Podium last week, great result when you look at it, but in your eyes, I know it's not where you expected to be coming off the outdoor championship. You didn't look very happy, so did you change anything this week in your program? How are you looking at going into this race this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't so much the third that I wasn't really in the fight. If I was close to them and battling, it would have been a little bit better, but I was pretty far off. So, I just went back to work this week, tried to test a little bit, get more comfortable. But it's so hard with how the tracks are. You don't really know what you're going to get. If you're going to run outdoor or Supercross suspension, you don't really know. So it's nice to have 2 practices today and try and adapt to the track and see what we got. Because I think this one's going to be a lot different than last weekend. And, we'll see.
Cooper Webb, you came back to outdoors after a thumb injury, re-aggravated it. Was that part of the reason for the lackluster result last weekend, or was there something else bothering you, or where are you at?
Yeah, I think it was just it's racing, right? You come in as best as you can, but it is what it is. It was just a rough weekend overall, but I think the speed wasn't too far off. I think I was right in that maybe secondary group, so we had a great week this week. I was back healthy, was able to have a great week and work on some things, and like Chase just said, it's a little tricky because you try to work on stuff from the weekend before, and then we come here and it's just looking at the track and track walk, it's definitely a lot different. I feel like we're back at a fair race or something. So we'll see what happens.
Cool. Hey, Aaron, for you, we know that you were a little bit beaten up and bruised last week after the free practice start and then other little incidents. How'd you feel this week? Did you lay low? And then what's the game plan coming into this one as far as keeping your body healthy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The plan is to just get a good start and pray for the best, but 20 minutes isn't that long. I think the shoulder can hold up for 20 minutes, and we'll see how we do. But it was nice to we only got to ride one day this week because all the rain down in Florida. So that was a little nice. When I did ride, it did hurt just a little bit, but yeah, we're gonna give it all I got.
Dan Hubbard, Race Day Live. Same question for you, Jason Anderson. That was a burly crash, man. Gnarly crash in practice. We covered it, and just want to see how you're doing, where you're at, and what you did this week to get ready for this race.
Yeah, for me, to be honest, just physical therapy for the most part. I didn't ride at all, so we'll see how today goes. But other than that, it'd be nice to be able to battle in front of everyone here and get some racing in.
Was it your back? Is that what you hurt last week?
Yeah, it was just my lower back. So, it's kind of a crazy one. It's hard to sleep and everything like that, but we'll see how it goes.
Question for Eli Tomac, Clinton Fowler. On the podium, Jet showed respect, saying it was a bucket list item for him to race against you. I think it was a show of respect. What's it like for you to race against him as an up-and-coming star?
Well, I mean, as of late, he's been the guy. So it's you see him as someone that is evolving the sport. So just trying to do my best to keep up with that and maintain a high level. So it's just it's how sports evolve, right? There's always an up and comer.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. Let's stick with Eli for a moment. I presume that you had a chance to walk the track this morning. Do you feel there are any similarities or what are the differences between this track and Daytona, where you've been so successful in the past? And is being on a speedway like this just kind of bring back those memories of Daytona?
I would say it looks very Daytona-ish. Just how the layout is and where the spacing of the jumps are. We got the sand. There's one real rhythm section out there. But for the most part, yeah, very Daytona-ish. So we'll see how it goes. For the most part, it should be good for me.
And let's stick with the vibes for a moment. AP, Texas, Cowboy. Are you feeling a little different walking into this track than you did last week, or is there anything special about Texas?
I'm feeling a bit bigger. No, I'm feeling really good. I've always liked racing in Texas, and this speedway actually reminded me a lot of Atlanta rolling in here. I thought I was back in Georgia. So it's got a homey vibe, and yeah, I haven't looked too much at the track yet, but I'm sure it's a good one. I'm sure there'll be really good racing, and yeah, I'm pumped for it.
Scott Yarja, Moto Now blog. Malcolm, this has been the longest season for you in a super long time. The impact of racing through all these events, is that good for you? Like, do you feel like you're continuously progressing, or do you feel like you need a break and focus on 2025?
Yeah, I mean, I'm counting the days down, buddy. But it's been fun, for me. It's been of course for me. It's been, obviously haven't raced the whole season in a very long time, and it's been fun. I actually been enjoying it, but when you're starting to get to that closer edge, you're just like, man, he's just just counting the days down, like I said earlier. And AP did said earlier, like we didn't really ride it a lot except for just once this week, but for the most part, we kind of needed that time off due to what we had in that practice crash Friday. So, but we're healthy for the most part. We're here. We showed up. We're going to try to get everything we got.
Got a fan question for the back. Thank you, Malcolm. Go ahead.
Aaron Blisker, did bull riding help with riding dirt bikes at all? Like when you rode bulls?
I wish I rode bulls, buddy. I never. I had a buddy that rode bulls, but I was never brave enough to get on one. I've ridden horses, and I mean, you definitely got to squeeze them tight. So I guess if I did ride bulls, it definitely would. It definitely would have helped.
Chase Sexton, last week in the press conference, you talked about having difficulties in the flat corners, getting it to turn. You were losing time to both Eli and Jet there. Something you were able to figure out this week. It seems like with the track layout, it's going to be a lot of fast, flat corners, and probably will be important again.
Yeah, I think with all these speedway tracks, you definitely have to have trust when there's not something to turn off of. We tried some stuff this week, but like I said, the track's so much different. So today we'll take those two practice sessions into account and try and adjust with the bike. It's a lot different of a track. Obviously, it reminds me more of Atlanta, more speedway style. Last week was very fast and a lot of straight shots down the straightaway. This one has a lot of turns. So yeah, we'll just take these two practice sessions, do some testing, and get ready for tomorrow. But I'm happy to be here. It does remind me a lot of Atlanta, so I'm looking forward to it.
Got one for Hunter Lawrence. I saw in the Honda press release you thanked the team. You felt like you were a lot more prepared. The bike was in a better spot for SMX this year than last year. So just talk about that compared to a year ago.
Yeah, this year I think we're in a better spot than last year for sure, because just like everyone else, we had no idea last year. But better spot for sure. Still tough. We're running Supercross hard components to ride them on motocross stuff, which is kind of like riding a road cycle on a mountain bike trail at times. But no, it's good. We're just like everyone. Each weekend we just get a little more data, a little more feedback, and able to relay that to the team, and then they work all the magic.
For you, you had a great pro motocross season, but we had a couple guys come back, including your brother and Eli. Ken Roxon's out here, et cetera, et cetera. Was it good to have a gauge of, I hadn't raced these guys in a couple months, and obviously in the first moto, you're right there. So was that a good gauge for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah, gauge, not really. I mean, I raced them all in Supercross and stuff, and that's just the guys I race. So.
But do you feel you've progressed against them from where you were in the first 5 months of your 450 career to where you are 4 months later?
Yeah, definitely.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Try to win, right?
That's it, yep.
Question for Eli. Last week, you're the only guy that runs a scoop tire. maybe harder this weekend. It's going to be 100 degrees, so you have to think the track's going to dry out. Is that the direction you're going to think about going again right away?
Yeah, I mean, for free practice and to see how it goes. So that's actually what's really cool about this Friday is we get to try stuff. Like, you're not super stressed out on throwing some time up. You know, we get to try some stuff, get really dialed in for these events, and see where it takes us. But as of now, yeah, you'll see it on my tire in that first, or on the rear tire in the first practice.
Hey, for Ken, you posted that video on social this week of you firing up the E-starter. Is that on the bike today? And then for the people that are listening, does that change the power delivery of the motorcycle because it's different parts?
So, Chiz is kind of our test rider, right? So it was on his bike, and but it's all in work in progress, and we're testing it, but we're not comfortable going anywhere with it unless we have about 20 hours of track time on it. Just want to make sure it's reliable and safe to use. So it's really just testing time.
Okay, similar to what Eli just said, you guys like having Friday, and I know you're a really analytical guy with the bike setup. How helpful is 2 practice sessions and then, like I said to Tom, a night to think about everything, digest it, and then come back to the team tomorrow?
Yeah, I do like this Friday setup a lot. We're most of the time on these longer flights, we come in on Thursday anyway, so most of the time on Fridays we don't really do anything. So definitely some good time to mess around with the bike a little bit. And for me, I used to be on Showa for Supercross, and I've been on KYB, and I really just threw that in there, basically the week or so before, or a couple of weeks right after Ironman, leading into the first SMX round. So that's really the first time I was riding KYB stuff. So don't really have much testing time on it. So yeah, definitely good to get these Friday practices in and try to see if we can improve. But I also, at the same time, try not to overthink it.
I have a fan question there.
All right, my name's Max. I have a question for AP yet again, but first, just a statement to Tomac. Bowing out after you've been to MX Nation several times, and it really shows your character. You know that if you went, you could do good, but you know that Plessinger had been ahead of you most of the season and had been consistent, and it just really shows your character that you were able to give that spot away. I know you would like to go, but just really shows your character out through your whole career and the legend that you've been. And AP, how's the excitement for MX Nations? Like, how's that coming? How excited are you for that?
Dude, I'm always excited for that race. Whether I'm racing or not, it's always an awesome race to watch or ride at because last year, even though the results weren't what we wanted, man, the fans and the crowd and just seeing so many people up on the side of that hill and just the enthusiasm overseas that the sport has, it's really, really cool. And it's an awesome feeling to go represent your country wherever it is. So I'm really, really pumped.
Question for Jet. About midway through both motos, you really seemed to kind of pick up the pace, especially the first one. It was very noticeable. Was it a situation where you're kind of feeling yourself out? You haven't raced in a really long time. You don't know how your body's going to respond, and then you feel okay and can push in that moment because dropped the lap time significantly in both motos around halfway.
Yeah, I think it's just me also getting into a better flow. I think the first one especially is just feeling everything out, and just also the track at a race pace and trying to figure out, see where my fitness is at, and also, so it's like, this kind of, there's a lot of things going through my head that first moto, just trying to figure out where I'm at with certain things, pace, fitness, stuff like that, and kind of after the first one, feeling really good. I was able to drop the lap times a bit and pull in Eli a little bit, but then he caught onto it and dropped them too. But it was feeling good. So in the second one, it was a little bit more easy to know how my fitness was, and it was kind of once I get the flow and that stuff, it was time to go for it and try and catch Eli again and stuff like that. But it's just like you said, it's just trying to figure stuff out for myself,
Justin Cooper. After analyzing your ride last week, what are some of the key things that you walked away from learning from last weekend?
Yeah, overall, it was the first 450 SMX race for me. I wasn't really too good last year in the 250. I kind of came in with some big expectations, and yeah, it really didn't play out for me. So this year was a way better start for me, and it was good to just get one under my belt. They obviously get more crucial going into these next two. So I feel like we're in a good spot with the team, with the bike, and yeah, nothing but positives really to take away from me. My speed was good last weekend. Just want to, keep gaining confidence and momentum.
All right, we got a fan question, then I'll get to you, Jamie. No, we're going to go Jamie first. All right, go ahead, Jamie.
Jamie Guida, Vital Mix. Dylan Ferrandis, this is your first year on the Phoenix Honda team, and by all accounts, you're a guy that tests a lot. You like to put a lot of time in during the week to get the bike where you want it, try a lot of different parts. How much more time do you feel like you're putting in during the SMX series to try to adjust to these tracks?
I mean, it was quite hard for me to do a lot of testing since I crashed a lot during the motocross, and especially Ironman that crashed at the start really beat me up, and it took me a little bit time to recover, and I was still suffering a little bit last weekend from it. But yeah, this week we've been able to test and do different stuff on the bike, so it's getting better. But yeah, it's more like a lack of just practicing and riding the bikes and trying to be 100% for me than anything else.
We do have a fan question. Go ahead.
My name's Denby Wheeler, and my question's for Jet. If you win this year, what's your next car going to be?
Well, right now we're looking at some Porsche GT2 RSs. That's the goal right now, is that. But we'll see. We're going to have to try and win it first. So right now there's no cars.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports again. Michael kind of took my question, but I'd like to get another couple of perspectives about Friday practice from Cooper and Chase, please. Cooper first.
I think it can be a positive. Like everyone says, you get a little bit more track time. So, that's always a positive. I think you can kind of go at your own pace. There's no qualifying or no pressure, so I think that'll be good. And you just kind of play it a little safer and come in a Saturday, and that's where it counts.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's nice having the extra time on the track. I tend to learn tracks pretty fast, so it's by the first session, most of us have it down, and then you can kind of just adjust the bike to what you think. Last week, the track was a lot different, I feel like, on Friday than it was to Saturday, so we'll see. It's always changing, and like I said, every race is unique, so you just kind of adjust on Friday and see what you got.
Scott Yarja, Moto Now blog. Cooper, talk us through your off-track excursion last week. Is that something where right away you kind of realized you're going to get docked, and do you think 6 positions was fair?
Yeah, I mean, I knew once I went off it wasn't going to be good. With the barriers, it was hard. There was a scissor lift there that I had to go around under a chain, and at that point it was either, I think go to dead last or go back where I was, and I expected a penalty, but it was tough. You saw this summer there was a lot of confusion on what to do. So with that track barrier going all the way down the drag strip, there was nowhere to really get on back to the right. And there was a scissor lift, so it was a bit of confusion. Obviously, I cut 2 corners, so I deserved the penalty. But we don't have to worry about that this weekend. It looks safe in the middle of the track so far.
Hey, Eli, for you, last week was your first SMX race. We know you've done Daytona, you've done Atlanta and all of that. But I put this social clip up of you from Friday and just how aggressively you're riding, how loud the bike is and everything. Is this as fast as the motorcycles will go, like on these tracks, or is there still a little bit more that you guys could uncork?
As fast as they'll go?
Yeah,
I mean,
the
speed was crazy high. I thought it was fun, though. It really reminded me of the old Vegas track, like coming back into the stadium, launching the stadium there. So it was different. And, you could absolutely just let it wide open.
So, we know how much you like the power, though. Are you at the hilt, we can't go much faster, or is there a little bit more if you guys wanted to start getting comfortable and did this more often that it could go quicker? Or are you at the limit of the bike?
No. I did preseason testing before Supercross, and I came down from power. I'm probably up on power compared to my teammates, but there's more if you want it. I mean, the 450s are just really impressive. Yep.
I have one for you, Eli. You did have a thumb injury after Supercross, but you were coming back from a really big injury in January. So even with the thumb injury, do you feel stronger, fitter, because you have had all this training block time compared to where you would have been at the beginning of Supercross for the beginning of this?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. The Achilles is a serious thing to come back from, so the thumb's been much easier. It's easier to maintain your fitness and stay in shape during that time.
Just as a final for anybody, after the first moto last weekend, Eli wins, but he's the only one using that tire. He gets the start on top of it. Anybody consider switching in between motos? I know Ricky Carmichael and myself went back and forth on that decision-making process. Is anybody on the fence about that?
When I seen him pull up to the second moto with the scoop tire again, I said, this guy is bat beep crazy. There's no way.
I'll mark that as a no.
I was like, there's no way. He got it wrong this time, and then sure enough, he did.
I think that's the answer we were looking for. Very well said. That's it for our 450 press conference. Thank you, everybody. Rodders, you can head that way. Awesome to have the fan involvement there. Just once again, tomorrow, Race Day Live kicks off the coverage on NBC Peacock or the SMX Video Pass. That's at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Again, Race Day Live, qualifying coverage on Peacock. 2:30 Peacock pre-race show, 3 o'clock gates drop, live racing coverage, Peacock and the SMX Video Pass. There will be a re-air at 6 Eastern on USA Network on cable tomorrow. So if you know some folks who don't have Peacock, have them tune in at 6. That will be our show. Thanks for watching the press conference. We'll be back here at 5 o'clock for the podcast mashup. We had an awesome time last Friday. I'm shocked some of the things we said, and we'll do it again. So come back here to this stage at 5, everybody. Thank you.